Family-centered, Christian-based, grown in the heart of the Midwest. Talking to people from all walks of life.
The world needs more encouraging stuff, honest conversation. I always put my biblical spin on everything because that's my foundation. My name's Bubba. What is up?
I just had emergency surgery.
Yeah.
So I had emergency surgery last week, an appendectomy.
Oh my
Who
goodness.
knew that was going to happen? I woke up at like 3 a.m. Pain woke me up at 3 a.m. and I was like, what is going on? And your mind doesn't just go to, I need to go to the emergency room because there's an organ or something that needs to be cut out of my body.
Right.
You're trying to think of all the normal stomach things, that might be happening. I'm a nurse. I'm thinking like, whatever, and took some medicine and wasn't feeling better. And I'm like, you know what, Tony? And it was just pain, like just absolute pain. And I said, Tony, this is the same pain that I had back at the first of the year. I had gone to North Carolina to visit my uncle, Gordon. He's the one that's helped me write this book.
Yep.
So Gordon Dasher, that's Zach Dasher's dad.
Mm-hmm.
And like the day before I left, my stomach was just not doing well. And all the way to the airport, he's driving me and I'm like eating Tums and getting sicker and sicker. And there was a question about lunch and I'm like, I don't think I can eat. Let's just stop off here at the gas station, get me a Coke, see if it'll help. Yeah. I say help my feelings because that's what my grandma used to say. She's like, drink a little Coke when you're sick, it'll help your feelings. So I got a little Coke and I'm just trying to sip this Coke and keep it together. And I'm on my way to the airport. And so I get to the airport, I'm calling Tony. I'm like, Tony, I don't know how I'm supposed to check in and look like I'm not sick. And they tell me I can't fly or whatever. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I make it through. And by the time I get into the airport, I go to a little airport store. I got some stomach medicine. I'm just trying to make it. And on the way, like I got in the plane and I tried to make it look like I'm trying to rest, but really what I was doing is hunched over in pain, doubled over in pain. I was in so much pain. And by the time I got to St. Louis from North Carolina, I was feeling that kind of detached, dissociated feeling that you can get when you're really, really sick or having a lot of pain. Mm-hmm. By the time I got in the car, I was dry heaving. Hopefully this isn't TMI for some of your viewers. I'm a nurse. I'll talk about anything. I'm not giving details about the stomach though. I'm being good.
Okay.
I went home again, took stomach medicine, trying to figure out what's wrong. I took some Tylenol, which helped. Weirdly. And so anyway, in a day or two, I was feeling better, but that just kind of goes to show you, like, I heard my dad had a high pain tolerance. Yeah. And so I think I do. I think I probably have a high pain tolerance. So anyway, that was in like the very first couple of days of January. And so when I started having this pain last week, I'm like, this is the identical pain from then. So that's when I knew this wasn't some weird virus that came and went, whatever. It wasn't the North Carolina water or anything that Gordon fed me. There was something going on. So I went to urgent care first because, not wanting to overreact. And then they were like, I think it's your appendix. That's what the doctor said. And I'm like, no. He's like, yeah, I need you to go over to the ER because they need to do a CT scan. And I don't know how much time you want me to talk about this, but they do not do the ER like they do in any other ER I've ever been in. They treat people coming and going from the waiting room. You don't get to go back into the ER unless they've decided, I guess, that you're very ill. So like you see a nurse in like from the waiting room, like right there off to the side, there's a doctor right off to the side of the waiting room. They order all your stuff. They gave me medicine and started an IV and sat me back down in the waiting room.
What?
Yeah. The whole time I was in the waiting room. And then they came to get me for my CT scan. I go back for that. When they came to get me to take me back to the waiting room, the lady was like, oh, she got upgraded to a room. You don't have to take her back to the waiting room. So that's what I knew. I'm like, okay, apparently there's something going on. Yeah. Doctor came in and was like, you have acute appendicitis. So the surgery team's on their way. Like they already had it all planned out. And I'm like, do I get to talk about, are we sure we have to cut it out? Like, but yeah, apparently that's the prevailing wisdom. But yeah, no, in St. Louis. And the lady said that they weren't that busy. And I'm looking around going like, y'all are busy. But she's like, normally there's like 70 people being treated in the waiting room.
Triaging in the waiting room.
Yes.
That's wild.
Starting IV, see the doctor. The doctor's just like, he's in a little enclosed area, but he's in the waiting room.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang. What a story. Oh my goodness.
Big city living. It's different.
I guess. How's that for a cold open? My goodness. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the best, fastest growing real life podcast on the market. We're in the middle of Women's Month, if you can't tell, here at the What Is Up podcast. And we're in rare territory today because we actually found a guest who is female and willing to come on for a second time. You may remember her from episode 52. She and her husband, Tony, made one of our most memorable episodes, which absolutely blew up on YouTube, over 10,000 views. Why would she be invited to come back on? And more importantly, why would she say yes to little old us? Well, when you have one of the most incredible and encouraging life stories, and then you write a future New York Times best-selling book about it, you do a book tour. And of course, we're one of the stops on the book tour. So she's with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce again the daughter of legendary duck hunter and man of God, Phil Robertson, future best-selling author, Phyllis Robertson-Thomas. What is up, girl?
Hey, thanks. That was great. I hope you're right. I pray that you are right. Future, the part about the best-selling author, but yeah, I love it. I'm happy to be back. I'm glad to hang out with you again and just chat and catch up and talk about the book. So thanks for having me back.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I was looking forward to it. My wife's looking forward to it. She goes, I'm going to come down and say hi again when you guys take break. I was like, it's going to be a 1-part special. There is no break. I was like, just come on down, whatever.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you haven't noticed, we talked a little bit off camera or whatever, but things changed a little bit after your episode. When you get 10,000 views on a video, you get a lot of comments, and some of them were negative, not about you guys, but about me and about not getting to you guys. I think one dude said, you lost me at 5 minutes, but I kept watching just to see how long you were going to make them sit there. And that's, yeah.
Ouch.
Oh, I got roasted a little bit. And,
ouch.
You ask anybody in my family and they say, you don't take criticism very well. And so I've been working on that. I'm like, okay, let's change things up. Let's move things along faster.
Awesome.
Let's maybe get them talking right away.
That's growth.
But sometimes I got to remind myself, I don't care what people say, because this thing isn't meant to get millions of views and have a huge following. Like you and I both know, you want to have an impact, more than likely it's going to be your small circle of influence. And that can have life-changing impact on a handful of people around you in your lifetime. And this podcast, since that moment, has really started producing fruit. I've got football coaches wanting to do Bible studies with me. I've got young people in high school wanting to get into the Word. It's producing fruit. That's all I can say.
That's awesome.
Some of those negative comments, I think they thought they were going to hinder me, and they didn't. So to make this all happen, we just got to give a shout out to Kendall right off the bat. She's a pleasure to deal with compared to some of the other people I've tried to have on. She responds. She's polite. We go back and forth. Some of these other people, man, they give you the old, our schedule's full right now, which actually means you're not big enough. That's what that means. I've learned that. So I just wanted to give Kendall a shout out before we get going here.
Of course. She's the best. She
is. She is.
She's my daughter-in-law, for those who don't know. Kendall's my daughter. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay. I thought so, but
so we need to tell everybody, go back to episode 52 so they understand who Kendall is. Yes. So go back and watch that one and let's see that. Let's see.
Everybody needs to know who Kendall is. Everybody needs a Kendall. People who meet her are like, I need a Kendall. Well, she's full.
Yeah. That's how you said it back then too. Everybody needs a Kindle. Everybody should have a Kindle. I love it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Before we get into the book, which I've already pre-ordered.
Yay, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Let's catch up, and then we'll tell everybody about the book and all that stuff. Since we last talked, man, some big things happened. The biggest of all is Phil cashing in that eternity ticket and going home to be with the Lord. I can't imagine what that was like for you.
There's that it's bittersweet because we don't grieve like the world does. We grieve with hope. And he's where he wants to be. And so I have to keep that in mind. I miss him, but it's like a selfish thing, right? I miss him and want to be, I feel like I didn't get enough time. And, I'm not going to have that kind of like negative mindset about not having enough time, since I only had 5 years with him. I think it's important to look at it like I was blessed with 5 years.
Yeah.
I could have found out after he passed, oh, like, by the way, that was your dad. It could have happened differently. And so I'm so thankful that the Lord gave me the 5 years that he did with my dad. I learned more with him in 5 years than I ever learned in my lifetime from a parent. That's how it feels. Yeah. I don't mean any disrespect, but it's just, it's facts and it'll be in the book. So had a rough upbringing. So meeting him and getting to spend those 5 years with him was so life-changing. And then I was able to be there with him at the end. It's part of just kind of who I am. That nurse personality, like, I was there with Burley is his name. I don't know if you
Mhm.
know who Burley
Yep.
is. Yeah.
Yep.
He's a nurse. A lot of people don't know that about Big Burley. He's also a nurse. And so the two of us were there round the clock. And wow, what a support he was. And he helped me with my dad. And I was able to do like nursing things, but not all of it. So it was
Sure.
just nice to have somebody else kind of buffer that for me.
Yeah.
But that's what I wanted to do. That's how God created me, was to care and to love and
Yeah.
to be that to a person. And so it was important to me that I got to do that. And I was allowed to. I had the space. There's a lot of family.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been surprising if someone had said, like, no, that's not going to be your role at this time, and I would have respected that. But that's not what happened.
Yeah.
I was there the entire time, and so I'm so thankful for that as well. And I was there with him holding his hand when he drew his last breath. And so
Yeah.
sad. I'm able to talk about it better now than I was, but then there's just sometimes it catches me and I'll just start crying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I thought about you right away, obviously. And I had been talking to Jersey Joe a little bit, and
mhm,
he
he
actually
struggled.
right, and he was open and honest how it impacted him, and that's just what I kept thinking. I was like, you guys both got 5 years. You only got 5 years,
Mhm.
but I love your perspective. That's the way you got. That's how a Christian needs to look at things. Really, I was blessed to have. What if I didn't? You know what I mean? See the
Yeah.
bright side of it, kind
Mhm.
of thing.
And it's not just like the power of positive thinking, it's the truth of biblical thinking. Because
Yeah.
I used to have a hard time with, like, oh, you're just being positive, or the glass half full. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a realist. I'm not a pessimist. And my husband Tony would tell me, like, oh, you're a pessimist. And I'm like, I'm realistic. Things happen. But now I'm beginning to see that, like, it is important. The words that we use are powerful.
Yeah.
And so it is powerful to how we frame things, instead of, I only got 5 years, I'm thankful for the 5 years that I was blessed with. And so
Yeah.
it seems like it seems like a small thing, and it's not just wishful thinking or
Right.
trying to find a silver lining in a cloud. It's
Yeah.
biblical truth to speak life.
It is. It is. You're absolutely right. I can remember hearing my father-in-law say that, about my mother-in-law who passed away when we were in high school. He's like, bro, if she could come back, she wouldn't want to. And you said it
Mm-hmm.
perfectly. He's right where he wants to be. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I love that. I love that.
We
Oh,
miss him though.
I'm
We
sure.
miss him.
I'm sure. It hit me just being a fan of the family and the show. It hit me a little bit to the point where my whole next episode after it came out, like it was all dedicated to him. It was dedicated to redemption. The whole thing. It was a sermon I did on redemption, which I used Phil as one of the examples in that sermon. And I just, I don't know, putting that episode together and put a dedication to Phil at the beginning of it. I mean, that was just kind of part of my process. I felt like, man, this guy had inspired me, and even though I never met him,
Mm-hmm.
and so I wanted to do something like that to honor him. So that's a great episode. Everybody go look that one up, man. My heart was hurting at that time too. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that's the best content, when people are just raw, emotional. That's good stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's honest,
Okay,
it's transparent, and people want authenticity nowadays. Like, they
absolutely.
really do. They want
Yep.
somebody that's real. And so
Yep.
if the tears are real and the heartbreak is real, and you're willing to put that out there for someone else to share in that grief with you
Mhm.
and like give space for it, like, that's also very powerful, I think.
Sure. Sure. What happened after that then? You didn't stay down there.
We didn't for long, and I guess the backstory to that, around February, March, the my oldest son, Grant, his wife Julie reached out, and just work schedules and everything. They had two little ones. She was working from home full time, and they're like, we are struggling with like childcare. The summer's coming up. Our oldest grandson goes to he was going at the time to a little Lutheran's preschool
Okay.
daycare, and they closed for the summer because it's treated as a school. And they're like, we don't know what we're going to do this summer, and the cost of daycare is exorbitant, and
Oh
we
yeah.
don't really want them in like full-time daycare. And so we were talking about that and had no idea that my dad would pass so quickly. We knew he wasn't in good health, but we were helping take care of him and Miss Kay. And we were like, what do we do? And we came up and visited. And I mean, I remember Grant just, he's very stoic. He was a sheriff deputy. I can give you an update on him too, his job. But he cried. He's like, I don't know what to do. Like, we need you, but they need you.
Yeah.
And so
Mm.
I think just God knows, it's God's perfect timing,
Yeah.
It's going to make me cry again thinking about all that. But anyway, but they did. They both needed us. And here I'm Nana, I'm mama, I'm daughter, I'm nurse. I want to be there for everybody. And that's a lot of, it's Women's Month here on your podcast. And that's some of the struggle that women have, right? Is trying to play all of those roles. So, and do them well.
Oh,
so,
man.
what we had decided was Tony would come for the summer and he would take care of the kiddos for the summer. That was the plan.
Okay.
So it was going to be Papa Tony. And so then my dad passed in May. And so it was like, okay, we just probably can go ahead and transition up here. And then what happened, the one of the hardest parts about it was a lot of hard things, but I was happy to be Nana and be, we could be up here and we take that role very seriously, grandparenting and legacy and godliness and being that role, playing that role in their lives. The hardest thing about this was my work, because I was working for the Center for Children and Families in Monroe as a counselor, as a therapist. I'm a newly licensed therapist, professional counselor, and it's called provisional license because I have to log in so many hours before it's like fully licensed. So everything's done except time. So anyway, I went in to see my supervisor at the Center for Children and Families just crying. And I'm like, I don't want to leave. And she's like, we need a telehealth therapist. There's so many people that need telehealth. And so I was like, so I'm working for the same agency, 100% remote. It's cool. Amazing. It's amazing. So I started to transition up here. Tony was here for the whole summer. I was kind of going back and forth quite a bit. And by the end of the year, we were pretty much like we had moved most of our stuff up. And I would say like officially Missouri citizens, transplants about, right at the end of 2025, beginning of 2026.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And is all this in the book at some point, or is that more
this is all. The book starts with like before I was born kind of stuff, a little bit before I was born and all of that, and then up to, gosh, that's a good question, I haven't thought about that. Probably up around to the point of maybe just mentioning my dad passing away, just because the book ended up being finished before he passed. The book had not finished before he passed. We've still been working on it, is what I tried to say. I started it when he was still alive. He wrote the foreword.
Right. Oh man.
Yeah. It's mostly up until like everything I've learned from going back to school for counseling. So it's pulling on all that, the experience of mom, wife, sister, daughter, nursing, all of those years of all the things that I've had to kind of work through.
Right.
So that's kind of what the book is about.
Gotcha. I only got one more thing before we get into the book, but just so now that you're back up there and family life and pretty much how you guys wanted, you said that was going to be the plan, to eventually get somewhere up there where you could still kind of, be not too far from Louisiana. But so you're up there. What's the family? What's everyone else feel? What's going on in their lives? All the kids and in-laws and.
So Kendall worked for Jason Missy, and Joel worked for a church down there for a while. So they're kind of our traveling, crew, the Rolling Stones. They moved also to St. Louis. So we're both our kids, both their wives, all of the grandbabies, we're all together now. And actually Joel and Kendall live like 5 minutes away from us. It's great up in St. Louis. Nice. And so Joel is doing wildlife management. Like he works for a company and they send him to like catch the squirrels, because it's the city. So like a lot of these folks don't know how to do their own, like, I mean, a squirrel in your attic there is different from a squirrel in your attic, I think, in the South. I don't really quite understand it all, but I do know that he professionally catches critters and like pigeons from office buildings and that kind of stuff. And Kendall is still working with Tony and with me, working on the book, working on art, and also works for she does marketing, social media management and stuff for a med spa. So that's pretty cool. She's learning a whole new like field. And then Julie, so Grant got a new job. He has waited 3 years and finally been hired on as he's a federal law enforcement officer. He just graduated from the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Georgia. Wow. And he's working for the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. They call it NGA in the government. They do like, I don't know what all they do. They find bad guys and data analysis and all that stuff. So he's like defense, security. I don't know what all he does, but he makes sure that because it's a terrorist target type place. He works there. It's a great job with great benefits. And so our daughter-in-law was finally able to quit working her full-time work from home job and can focus on being a mom and being a wife, and she has family, and she's, has a life, and it's a lot to take care of two little kids. And so she's doing that. So everybody's doing great. It's been awesome. Tony just went viral.
He had one hit. I
He
didn't
just went
follow him.
viral. He posted a video, and I did not know people were so touchy about black paint, but that's what the video is about.
I did see that. I just saw it yesterday, so I didn't
He's had
see.
over 1 million views. He's gotten so many new followers, and people are
Oh,
serious about their black paint. Yeah, I'm proud of him.
good for him.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
and he's a teacher. Like that's his heart has been art teaching. He has a
mm,
degree in art education. And so he's kind of feeling his way into the area with
sure.
like galleries and art opportunities, like teaching opportunities and all of that. But
Oh.
he filmed a video about using black paint. And I mean, to tell you, it took off. It's so great.
I saw it. I saw it. He said, "This is how you make your own black paint. Get rid of that tube of black paint. Don't buy another tube of black paint." You guys
Mhm.
are when you guys do stuff together, when he does stuff on his own, like I really love his content. So for the audience out there, man, go follow Tony Thomas Art. It's
Mhm.
a fun follow. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
And but on the business side of things, like how's that going? Like that was his passion to say how can I just really do well in this space? Is it coming along? Is it a grind?
Well, he doesn't think it's a grind because he loves it.
He loves it.
And it's a labor of love. Like he loves it, but he works all the time, and he's always trying to figure out, what's the next thing
Mhm.
that can be an income producer. It's like any other small business,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
And so he's in this new market, but he's also he's wanting to get into different galleries. He's focusing a lot more on what he calls like faith art or religious art, because
Mhm.
he's passionate about that. People love that.
Mhm.
And then he's also very intentional, like I said, about grandparenting, like
Mhm.
spending time with the boys.
Yeah.
He spent that summer with them, and our youngest, who's about to turn 2, like that summer, with him being like a year and a half old, he bonded with Tony, and like Papa is everything. And Grant, when they came
Oh.
over to our house yesterday, Grant was like, I think he bonds more with you over me, and maybe even over Julie. Maybe y'all are
Oh.
even. That's how tight
Wow.
baby Harry is with his papa. And I mean, it's a big deal. So he gets stuff to do with them, like science, technology stuff, STEAM.
Oh, cool.
So I know he wants to. That's a big part of what he wants to do. And then he's also looking at some possible teaching opportunities in the area. So,
Good.
which is what he did in Nicaragua. It's what he did when we came back from Nicaragua. So
Mhm.
he's got the master's degree in art education. So I don't know
Wow.
exactly where that's going to take him, but it's all art business. I think as long as he's doing art and taking care of his family, I feel like he'll be happy.
Yeah, yeah. To my regular listeners, they already know that I promote his website and his artwork on every single episode, part 2. There's a whole little shout
Oh,
out segment, and I got a whole little line wrote up. If you want some amazing yet affordable how
mhm.
do I say it? If you want some amazing yet affordable artwork for that home office or cabin of yours, you got to go see my buddy TonyThomasArt.com, and it's a whole little spiel or
Thank
whatever.
you.
So,
That's
yeah,
appreciated. It,
I
it
love
really is. And he works so hard
right.
day and night. Like he works all the time. And the problem is we're looking for a house because the house that we have in St. Louis is 739 square feet.
Ooh. Ooh.
Tiny, tiny,
That's
tiny house. And so
yeah.
I work from home and I need a private home office.
Oh no.
And so he's down in this tiny little, the house is it was built in 1894. So there's this tiny little short basement.
He's in that basement.
It's not a
I thought
finished
those were just
basement.
for videos.
No, that's where he's working.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, it's something. If you go into those videos and look around, like no, he's in the basement because and I have to put on a noisemaker, which we do anyway, but I have a noisemaker and like if like now my desk broke, so I'm actually at the kitchen table. So
Oh,
what he has to do is he can either be in the front room or in the basement. So like he can't walk through if I'm seeing clients. So he has
yeah.
to, we hope for good weather, he has to walk outside and around and go back in the back way if he needs to use the restroom or go down to the basement. So
Oh,
it's been it's been a trip. I think if we have you have to be flexible. Like we have been almost too flexible, but we've decided this year that we will not sleep on air mattresses. We're over that.
okay.
But no, we just have to, we kind of can make a lot of things work, but we're finally getting to the age, I think, where we're like, this moving around, we're over it. We are
Oh,
ready to
done.
get a home and be planted and comfortable and stop all of this moving around shenanigans.
Absolutely.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You deserve to get your feet planted somewhere for
mhm.
sure. If you want to hear about how flexible they used to be and traveling overseas and mission work and coming, you got to go back and listen to their first episode, episode 52. You get the full life story. It's impressive. It's incredible. So, all right, let's get to the book. Let's talk
Okay.
about the book. I've got some of my own questions,
Okay.
but I'll just lead off with this. You proved my point with you writing this book. One of the main reasons that I started the podcast is because I had a theory that every single person is interesting. Everyone who
Um,
knows your story knows that, okay, that's pretty exceptional. That's awesome how this all worked out. But I say your average neighbor that you don't even know has a story, and if you let them tell it, there's going to be other people that find it interesting. Anyone could write a book about their life. You did. So tell us about it, and then maybe I'll throw in my questions as we go.
okay. Yeah. The questions are good. Helps keep me
Sure.
guided on the
Sure.
tracks. So here's the deal. I've had a great testimony. I've had a great testimony. I've been serving the Lord for a really long time. So, what has happened with me finding out that Phil Robertson is my dad, all it has done is afforded me a small platform. It's not a
Mhm.
large platform,
Mhm.
but a small platform that I can then say, okay, I can share my testimony
Yeah. Yeah.
and the heart of God and love, healing, the gospel to more people than what I was able to do before. And
Yeah.
that's kind of the nuts and bolts of it. And then, like I said earlier about being a nurse, like I care about people.
Mhm.
I care about their physical health. I care about their mental health. I care about their spiritual health. And so I went back to school to be a counselor, pulling all of that together. And it's Liberty University Online, like
Love it.
amazing
Love
clinical
it.
mental health program. Like if anybody's considering it, we need Christian counselors.
Absolutely.
Tends to be a very liberal field. So and you can be a whether liberal or whatever conservative. That's really not. Those are not even the best words. We need believing Christian
Christian
counselors,
counselors.
right?
Absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
we counsel anybody from anywhere, from any walk of life. It doesn't matter. But you can do that and not impose your values on people. So
Sure.
any person,
Yeah.
and so that can be liberal counselors can counsel Christians. It works both ways. If everyone's being ethical, it works both ways. But we need that.
There you go.
There are people who want Christian, biblically based counseling, so that's why
Mhm.
we need them.
Mhm.
I would say I digress, but not really. But that was so important. Like what that did for me was open doors for me to share my testimony in a different frame of with a different frame of reference. And
Sure.
so the book is called I Never Knew, because those are the first words that my dad said to me.
Oh,
He
I
said I
love it.
never knew,
Love
which
it.
was a pretty big deal, because had he known and not ever tried to find me, that would have been, I mean, I don't know how, if I would have even met him. I might not have even wanted to meet him if I thought he was that callous. So he said he never knew, but so my story is there to give, and my testimony to give some context to what I've learned, what I never knew God could do in my life and heal
Yeah.
me and redeem my story, and give me the testimony that I have
Mhm.
today. And
Mhm.
so I share stories. It's not really a memoir. I would say it's memoir-esque, only that it provides those stories and backdrop. Like this is a story, this is a story, and then this is what happened, this is what God did, and this is what God can do for you. And so I
Mhm.
blend in my experience as a nurse. I blend in my experience as a therapist and then just life and as a believer
Yeah.
to address pretty much all the common things that people deal with. And some of my stories worse than some, and some of my stories not nearly as bad as some. People have
Mhm.
gone through terrible things, but no matter what a person has gone through, they can read this book and say like, okay, I didn't realize that. I didn't know that either. I didn't know that that
Mhm.
was even a thing, and I didn't know God could work that way. I didn't know that's what the Bible was talking about when it was
Yeah.
talking about like
Yeah.
renewing your mind. And then and then be able to apply it to their lives and be free no matter what their background. And it's basically it's a book about healing from trauma.
Ah,
And I
there
use
you
my
go.
story as a kind of an interest, to kind of grab interest, to say, hey, look, yeah, Phil Robertson is my dad. His face is on the cover. Tony painted that, by the way.
Oh,
It's
I
an oil
love it.
painting. He did it. Yeah. But it's really just to share what God's done in my life.
I love it. Phyllis, I think it's gonna take off because of that line right there. You show how God healed past trauma.
Mm-hmm.
That the world is hungry for that.
Yeah.
I mean, young people coming up today, older people that now, have these mental issues and anxiety issues, and they realize it's because they didn't deal with trauma
Yeah.
in their childhood correctly. And now it comes out as an adult, looks
Mhm.
like for no reason. People
Yeah.
want that. People are going to be drawn to that. I think once this
Mhm.
thing catches on, once hopefully Fox and everybody else has you on and does some hits and get you some publicity for this thing, because
I hope
it's going to
so.
be incredible.
I hope your viewers will and your listeners will pray, join me in prayer. Um, there's, it's a false assumption that just because I'm a quote unquote Robertson, that
Hmm.
doors are just going to fly wide open. That is
Right.
a false assumption. Making it as an author or in any type of public setting, podcasting, publishing, film, you've got to have talent, you've got to know the right people. And just because I'm a Robertson does not mean those doors are just going to automatically open. So I
Right.
do appreciate all the prayers, that God will put me in the right place at the right time. And people, I already have people who are like, this is important
Yeah.
and we are going to support you in any way we can.
Right.
And so I just need people who have networking and who have voices and decision makers to also see, like, wait a minute, I
Yeah.
think this book can help people, because it's not in clinical language, which Gordon helped me write it,
Right.
because
Right.
I would write an academic paper and that's not what people want to hear, listen to, but
No.
I had that clinical part, but then Gordon took it and he made it beautiful and he made it sweeter to listen to and hear and
Right.
read. And so
Right.
we did it together and he did a lot of the heavy lifting and I'm so thankful for him.
Okay. That was going to be my next thing. What was the process like? What was it like working with Gordon?
Oof.
But
Oh, he's hilarious, by the
hang
way.
on a second. So you're saying it would benefit the book greatly if grassroots, as we all get our books and we rave about it and we tell our friends about it, we post on social media about it. But how important is the pre-order, doesn't that really play a part in
It
how
does.
much they push the book out there? So we need everybody listening right now to know it's important that when they get done listening to this, that they go pre-order your book.
That would be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's at inevernewbook.com. And pre-sales are so important because that will determine if other podcasters will have me on, especially the bigger ones. They have a big schedule, a tight schedule. They have, how this works. The further up you go,
Yep.
the more heavy hitters are scheduled. And so to be able to break into that can be quite difficult. But the more of an audience that I have, social media presence that I have, the more pre-orders that we have, the more endorsements that I can get, which is something I've actually been working on this week.
Right.
We'll speak to podcasters and people who do things in print or their social media, whatever, to help me sell it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'm signing every pre-order.
I noticed that.
I'm going to sign every one of them and we'll mail them out.
So that
I'm
means
excited.
I will have 2 autographed books in my library, if you call it a library.
Whoop, whoop.
And one of them's going to be Phyllis and one of them's going to be Phil. And that's it. Those are my
Nice.
2 autographed books. So that's cool. But it's funny you say that. I'm learning little tips and tricks like you guys on social media. You're doing it well. You're doing it right. You're making it authentic. You're making it, funny. But you're putting your presence out there so people can find you and see what you're like.
Yeah.
I've noticed in this world, when you want to catch somebody's eye in an episode, you basically have to mention somebody and then you at them in the little clip that you're going to post to social media. So when you say, you need the higher up podcasters to maybe get a hold of this book or to hear that it's good. Right now in my mind, I'm thinking Theo Vaughn has been posting lately about, do I want God to heal me? Because if God heals you, because he's got stuff in his past, he says, if God heals you, he changes your story. And he says, I think I'm ready for a different story. And so he wants God to, and I'm just thinking, Theo Vaughn, right now, we're clipping this just so you see it. And we're putting this on social media. So you invite Phyllis Robertson-Thomas, who has one of the best examples of how God can heal trauma. Theo, you need to have her on. This one's for you.
And for real, like I would meet with him to talk about that story he wants to change, whether I was on his podcast or not. And I'm not saying that because I know plenty of famous people now. I've met so many people. I literally don't care about that, but I would absolutely talk to him if how I would speak to him, if those words could land right with him, I would absolutely have that conversation and wouldn't have to be on the podcast at all. So.
I know you would. I messaged him that day when I saw that video. I was like, he'll never see it, but somebody might see it. Not in the comments. I messaged him. I said, dude, if you want to talk about this, this is the stuff. This is why I started the What Is Up podcast, to point people to real healing, real life-changing power. If you want to talk, let's talk.
That's
not no cameras, no nothing.
He's got a huge following, and you know who else we've been listening to, and I mean, sometimes it's hard for me with language and sometimes it's not. It just depends on the episode. But Sean Ryan,
Sean Ryan. Yeah.
such good content.
Mm-hmm.
It's just stuff that I'm passionate about,
Mm-hmm.
especially when he's had guests on about sex trafficking and things like that, and what our kids are going through and how they're not getting what they need.
Mm-hmm.
These are big, powerful voices.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
people are listening to them. It's so important. So, I mean, the more the merrier that they are loving the Lord and,
Yeah.
you know, can spread the love and be real. Like people cuss, like, okay, like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I'm not, that doesn't, it just depends. Like, if they're like straight up dropping the F-bomb like every other word, it's kind of hard for me to listen
Right.
to. I guess I'm old fashioned, but that's not, I haven't noticed that as much with the Sean Ryan show. We were
Okay.
listening to it on the way here today.
Yeah, it's hard when guys are former military like that. A lot
Right.
of them they're just a little brash like that. But
Mhm. It's
yeah.
and it's cultural, you know, so
Mhm.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I get
I shouldn't say a lot of people, that would have been a lie. I caught myself. I almost lied. I've noticed that Sean Ryan's setup and my setup have some similarities. We both give our guests gifts.
Oh,
Every
cool.
guest gets a free podcast shirt. I can't remember what we sent you. I think we sent you a purple LSU cup with a podcast sticker on it.
We have a podcast cup. We got a podcast t-shirt.
Okay, you got a shirt too.
Yes, we got a
Okay.
shirt and a cup. Yeah.
And then
Awesome.
he talks to people, and then he'll do an intro later. Like he writes a personal intro to try and brag them up. And I'm just like, boy, look at me and Sean Ryan. I don't have a gun range. I don't have a military background. And I don't
Oh yeah,
have
are
a
you going to
million
give me a
followers.
gun? Because that would be great. Am I getting a Glock?
No, I think he's got friends at Sig Sauer, which is a big
Oh, that's what it
German.
is. 6 hour. Yeah.
Yeah. You go, I got friends at Sig. Here's your new hand. No, Phyllis, we're not there yet. When we
Okay,
get that
look,
big,
hey,
I will give you a handgun and
there
we'll
you
sit
go.
around and laugh. We'll
There
laugh
you go.
about it. So, you mentioned Gordon Dasher. You know,
Yeah.
I've been a lifelong. There we go again. Since episode 60 of the Unashamed podcast, which is right in the middle of the lockdowns, is when I found it. I've been a follower of the Unashamed podcast, been listening to it. And as Zach's role increased, that'd be your cousin,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
His dad, Gordon. We hear about him all the time. Gordon helped Phil write books. I think he helped
Mhm.
just about anybody write books. He helped you
Yeah.
write books. Give us a behind the
That's his
scenes
thing.
look. What's that like?
All right. And that is his thing right now.
Oh.
Like he's writing books for people. He's hilarious, first of all.
Okay.
So it's fun to work with him. I've worked with him just like this, like on Zoom calls
Mm-hmm.
and like shared documents. So this is part of the process. I actually went there. The synergy of being in person with somebody was really cool. So
Yeah.
that was part of it. We like hunkered down for a week to finish the book. So that was fun. There may have been some burping. He accuses me of burping loudly. I don't know what he's talking about. No, it's great. It was fun. It was just fun and relaxing at the same time, but we got a lot done and he's a blast to hang out with. He really cares. And what I loved is like he's compassionate and cares about people. He's learning more and more about people who have a trauma background. He's doing a lot of work with Celebrate Recovery.
Oh,
So
good.
on the regular, he's working with people and realizing like people don't wake up in the morning and I told him this, that people don't wake up in the morning wanting to give their lives away for drugs and alcohol.
Right.
Nobody does that.
No.
They're self-medicating and it just one thing turns into another. They're medicating for trauma, they're medicating mental illness, like it all ends up. He's like, I don't think we have anybody in Celebrate Recovery that he's working with that doesn't have a traumatic background. And I'm like, you'll be hard pressed to find somebody who's significantly mentally ill or on drugs and alcohol that doesn't have a history of trauma or mental illness. So
yeah,
he's very compassionate.
Good. We reached out to Brian Rucker, who's running the Celebrate Recovery down there at White's Ferry Road, if I'm not mistaken. Cool. And and he responded, and we've got an episode in the works. His schedule's a little different, but yeah, Brian, same way. He had to go through the whole struggle with drugs, and now he's ministering to people with that. I love it. I love
that Gordon's willing to do it. He doesn't have a history with substance abuse, but he's willing to, like, he has that up at the church that he and Zach and his son and all of that family, the Dasher family, goes to. But he was great to work with. One of the things that I really appreciate about Gordon too, and I leaned on him for, was the theology. Like it's very much a biblically integrated approach to therapy and healing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I loved having him there because he does have that background and he was able to, like, I could balance it. I'm like, I feel like this is what the Bible's saying, or I what about this word? Or, and we really got to pick it apart. We didn't just throw scripture in there willy-nilly. We wanted to make sure that we were doing the word justice and and putting it out there correctly, for lack of a fancy or way to say it. But I appreciated that about him. He knows the word.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how they played him off on Duck Dynasty. That the handful of episodes he was in there, like him and Phil are nemesis. You married my daughter. You're a city guy, and they
Yeah.
played it up on the show really well. But when you hear Zach talk about Gordon Dasher, you realize there's a whole lot more to him. So what you're
Oh
saying
yeah,
really speaks volumes.
absolutely.
I did notice that right away that Tony did the cover art, and I
Yeah.
love it. And I'll put a picture up right here for everybody to see before they get their book, I guess. Um, and I love that. How special was that for Tony to do that?
Wow. So on the way here today, when we weren't listening to Sean Ryan, I was finishing up my acknowledgments page that goes in a book when you do
Okay.
acknowledgments, crying,
Hmm.
and putting everybody in there. But what I put this in the book, and this is coming. I can't say too much, but I will mention that I mentioned the painting.
Okay.
And at that moment when I met my dad, because every other thing it feels like was photographed or filmed with him, that they were
Mhm.
filming the funeral, but that moment there was a lot of respect and nobody took pictures. So there was no photograph of when I met my dad, out of everything that's been photographed, but Tony was able to capture that in a painting. So super, super special. It was hard for him to paint that. Like it was hard,
He
like
went off
technically
his
hard.
vision, like
Yeah.
what he
Like he
remembered.
had to he
Oh,
was looking at different pictures of my dad, different pictures. He had me stand in certain ways and take different pictures from different angles. Like he had to put that together. He couldn't look off of a photograph or whatever. Yeah.
wow. Mm.
Yeah.
When the meeting finally happened, was Tony there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And both our boys. Well, I think
So
when
the
we first pulled up, Tony was there with me. And then the boys, because we rode in with Al, and then Lisa and our kids were right behind us. So they may have pulled up, and I was oblivious at that point.
yeah.
But I do know that we walked into Al and Lisa's house, and my kids were there, and they all stayed in the kitchen area while he and I went and talked. My dad and I went
Okay.
and talked in the living room off to the
Okay.
side.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tony's going off memory and painting that. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Okay, so if that doesn't have people intrigued, how can people go ahead and pre-order their copy? Again, let's have you go ahead and tell them.
They can go to ineverknewbook.com. It's pre-orders. We are planning for this book to come out this summer.
Okay.
Don't know exactly when. Like, there's all the edits. We edit, they send it back, and they send it back. Like it's quite the process. But and it's got once it's finally finished, it gets printed, like the actual printed copies of the book that will go out to folks. And so you can go in and pre-order it now. As soon as it is printed, even before it's like released to everybody, the ones who have pre-ordered it are going to get that book signed copy from me first.
Oh, nice.
And then we also, like, when you do purchase a pre-order book, you put your email, and pretty soon we're going to
Mhm.
have content that's just going to go out to those folks who have pre-ordered, just to kind of keep them in the loop of things that are going
Mhm.
on, and maybe even some like I would like to do. I've been talking to Kendall about this. Like we'd like to put together some like Bible study discussion questions and just things like that to send to the folks who have pre-ordered so that they can access those resources. And wherever God takes that book, maybe
Sure.
someone who buys it is going to maybe have it at their cell group or
Yeah.
small group or
Yep.
whatever, read it with
Yep.
their family. But yeah, any little resources, we're going to try to keep in touch with people because we're doing pre-sales now, and it's still a few months away before it
Mhm.
releases. But
Mhm.
yeah, and also I have a website, phyllisrobertsonthomas.com. And when
Okay.
you go to the pre-sale site, the book site, ineverknewbook.com, it'll actually route you over to phyllisrobertsonthomas.com if I
Okay.
understand correctly.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I went to your website and I got there.
Yeah.
It was there. There was a spot to order
And
it.
then
So
following me on Instagram, and that's a big one too, just increasing that audience, because like
yep.
you said, they used to, this is what I understand, this is what Al and Lisa were explaining. Used to, when you wrote a book, you got with a publisher, and the publisher promoted your book, edited your book,
Yeah.
and made you famous, or got your book out there or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, one, I'm not seeking fame. I would love to be able to buy a house, but the purpose of the book is to minister to people. So if
Yes.
one person, like you said about your podcast, like if one person is changed, that's enough. That's worth it to
Worth
me,
it.
because why would I mean, there's some stuff in that book,
Sure.
like every area of my life has been touched by something, stuff that most women go through, and even
Yeah.
worse, like I said. But why would I put that out there if not for someone to get, just to hear that, okay, there's hope for me. God can redeem
Yep.
this.
Yep.
And the reason I'm saying all that, yeah, is because we talked to a publisher. We looked at all of the facts. We looked at all the numbers. And honestly, today, if they want you to come to them with this huge social media reach, And they're like, yeah, if you can sell your book yourself, we'll publish it. So, but then you're like, but I can get it published, the copies ordered and printed, which is publishing cheaper,
Yeah.
like a more affordable is what I should say, not cheap quality, but more affordably than you doing it. And then they take this huge cut. So in my
Yep.
opinion, I've talked to different authors. Like if somebody's interested in writing a book, as far as the process, I would say do your homework. But if you can figure out how to like publish it yourself and build your own like grassroots social media reach and all of
Yep.
that, then because they're not going to do any of that. They'll publish your book and they'll take part of the profit, but they don't really do anything to market it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Don't give a
hoping that we
slice of the
just,
pie.
yeah, it doesn't make sense
Hmm.
anymore. Things have changed. And so, but yeah, follow me on Instagram. And, I don't really do much on TikTok. I maybe need to start doing something like that. I'm on
Yeah.
everything cross post. So whatever I put on Instagram is on Facebook and vice versa.
Me too. Me
Yeah,
too. That's the recipe for anyone 40 and older, I guess.
I
If
think
you're
so.
younger than that, it's all TikTok, but Sarah runs our TikTok. I don't touch it. So the book comes out
Mhm.
this summer. Let's say the date hits, all the pre-sales, everybody gets their copy. Do you have an idea of what happens at that point? Is it out in bookstores? Is there going to be some traveling? Is there going to be what do you think happens at that point? Can you give us a glimpse?
Well, there's kind of the hoping for, not sure
Sure.
what to expect because you just don't know what to expect unless it starts to really sell. So what we plan to do is be on podcasts that will have us.
Hmm.
And then we will contact anybody that contacts us or we contact them that's in any type of prints or like magazines, like I said, podcasts, even I mean I would love it if like CBN, TBN, all those places that have
Yeah.
outlets for filming, things like that. um I have been in touch with I Am Second, and they
All
are
right.
such a great ministry. I have such a great like relationship with my contact there, and so we've been talking. So like anybody that I've already kind of networked with, I've been networking with recently, and then hopefully that network grows. Like
Sure.
that's literally the definition of networking. So the more it grows, the more I can travel. We will have it in bookstores,
Hmm.
which ones I don't know. But yeah, so like my contact at Walmart is a friend that we've duck hunted with in Kansas. Like it's not
Okay.
anybody who
Okay.
knows anybody. Like he's just like, oh yeah, we know someone at Walmart that does some of that merchandising. So as far as what bookstores are in, if somebody owns a bookstore and they would like these books to be in their bookstore, I am more than happy to
Yeah.
provide them.
Yeah.
So
I
but yeah.
I read a magazine. It comes out every month. It's a company called American Family Association down there in Tupelo, Mississippi.
Okay, yeah.
And it is the best. You guys probably want to reach out to them. They're the best. It's a family-owned thing. Don Wildman started this company back in the 60s when he was disturbed with everything he was seeing on TV and the indecency. And
Mhm.
I think there's
Didn't
a doc
American Family Association, isn't that that a radio station, right?
AFR, American Family
Yeah.
Radio.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Oh,
okay. I was like, are
they
we
got to
talking about the
have you
same thing?
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be
Um,
great.
Man, I'm sure Focus on the Family would have you on. You got to know Jim Daly and those guys. You've been
Yeah,
over there. So
we've met Jim Daly.
yeah.
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 So there's people out there, and I feel like we just need a couple big breaks. We've got a couple really great endorsements, and like I said, I'm just working on that this week, so I can't say
Okay.
who or what because I'm
Sure.
waiting on some things. But I think if we get some really key endorsements and a couple of big open doors, and I love what you said. Grassroots
Yep.
growth is where it's at.
Yep. Yep.
If
That's
one of
it.
your listeners buys a book and they tell their buddy and they tell their mama, and then that one's like, I need to give this to my friend at work, and that's powerful.
Yeah. That's the human version of the algorithm on social
That's
media.
right.
That's
That's
basically
right.
what it is.
Mhm.
Word of mouth. That's all we used to have,
Mhm.
unless you had a big company behind you. So, oh, I love it. So, guys, if you haven't pre-ordered it, as soon as this episode is over, you got to watch it till it's finished. That helps the algorithm. So watch it, then go to the website, pre-order your book. You won't regret it. It's going to be incredible, I'm sure. Okay, I put some stuff in here in case we got to the end of the book talk and I just some stuff that was rattling around in my mind. And so stick with me on this. The Blind, the movie was incredible. It's in my top three. I was listening to them promote The Blind before its release, and I knew it was going to be good. I knew it was going to be right up my alley. I knew I could relate to the story because, like Phil, everything good I got in my life comes from the fact that at 20 years old, I decided to come to Jesus. My life doesn't look like it does today. And we've been giving away copies of the movie because it's so powerful and I love it. And So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, The Blind, the story about Phil. It's one of my top 3 favorite movies of all time. Now, Al and Lisa got a movie coming out on Lifetime on May 16th.
Yes.
I'm super
So
excited
excited.
for that. That's going to be great. And then this question pops up just recently. I think this was like a late addition to the outline for your episode. Might we see, or has there ever been any thought of a Phyllis and Tony movie in the future?
Ooh.
Because like you said, the book isn't just, you know, the story of you finding out Phil's your dad. It's everything up until that. You guys have one heck of a story. Everybody, you can go back to episode 52 and hear it all over again. You could make that alone without ever realizing your dad is Phil Robert. You could make that into a movie. Has that been a thought for you too?
I mean, we've had people tell us that, like, wow, y'all could, you could write a book, you could have a movie.
Yeah.
I remember a patient told me that after I found out about my dad and we were moving, and one of the patients I took care of in Dallas was like, y'all need to have a Lifetime movie. Those were his exact words. Or he said, this sounds like a Lifetime movie. And I'm like,
Yes,
whatever.
ma'am.
But I
Yeah.
will tell you this, really super cool. So I have amazing nieces and nephews, so many more than I ever thought I would ever have. Okay.
Mhm.
On both sides of my family. This particular niece I want to mention is Alex, Alex Mancuso. She's
Mhm.
Al and Lisa's youngest daughter. She actually helped write the script for their movie.
Okay.
She's a great writer. And as she was doing that process, she was like, Phyllis, like, I just feel like we should do a movie, with about your
Yes.
story, about your life. And so, when it all comes down to it, like you said, everybody has a story. They could make a movie about just about anybody,
Yeah.
especially if it's like a good, wholesome or Christian story, redemption story. So is it interesting enough for that? Absolutely. Would it be
Mhm.
super cool? Absolutely. Would it happen? Get in front of the right people, the decision makers? Who knows? But yeah, I mean, it would be cool if it did. I don't know how all of that works, but there are people around me who do. But
That's
we'll see.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, just the fact that it's being spoken about, that's the start of the process right there.
There we
We'll
go.
see what
Yeah.
happens. We'll see what happens.
Do you know who convinced me? Because people did tell me, like, oh, you should write a book. You should write a book. And that's one of those things that you're like, okay, yeah,
Uh-huh.
but just because people say you should or you think you even could doesn't mean you actually will. It's quite the thing.
Right.
And I didn't even know how hard it was. I didn't know how hard it was when I started, but it was at the Blind podcast that we were filming. And Sadie
Okay.
was the moderator for that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember that, but I
Yeah.
mentioned a couple things. And then afterwards, she said something to me. Oh, it was me mentioning that I was only 45 minutes away. And it's a large family. Not everybody knows me super well. And at the
Mm-hmm.
time, like, she didn't know that. Right.
Yeah.
And it just kind of hit her like, you were 45 minutes away. Like, and she's like, I just don't know all that much about you. And I'm like, I've got an interesting story, Sadie. So I told her a couple of things, and she's like, book. That's exactly, you need to write a book.
Book.
And she's the one that actually, I guess I believed her because of what she's been able to accomplish. She's an author.
Yeah.
She's got a huge ministry.
Yeah.
And to hear someone like that say, like, you actually could do this, you could write a book, just meant a lot to me. She met me for lunch, and just kind of talked me through, like, book writing a little bit and just her perspective. And then I got to hear her testimony.
Yeah.
It was just a special thing. It was really special thing, but it's actually her saying that you should write a book that actually got me on this path to really doing it. And
Wow.
I'm so glad she said that to me. I'm so glad she gave me the courage to do it.
That a girl. Shout out Sadie Robertson. Good job. Love it. Okay. Now here's the real surprise. Let's say it does happen. This is actually new content for me. This is a new getting to know you question that I've thrown. I always try to add new material, new content for guests.
Mhm.
So I'm going to spring this one on you. Let's say that movie happens. It's a go. It's pre-production.
Okay.
Who is your choice to play you and Tony?
Oh
Who
my
would you
goodness.
want? And you can take some
Oh, look, no,
time
I
and think.
know. I know who I would love to play Tony because he's got a similar humor. It's it's not Kevin Hart.
That's the little short black
He's
guy.
the little short black guy. Not him. It's Kevin James.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Kevin
Oh,
James. Completely, yes.
love
100%
it.
would be amazing to play Tony because they've got the same, like,
I see it.
humor
Same
and
humor.
that gooberish kind of thing going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So I know that immediately. And for me, I have no idea who even has, like, my vibe. I don't know. I don't know. That's an interesting thing to me.
Yeah.
I would almost love it if like somebody that was trying to make it, somebody that was trying to
Okay.
make it
An up and comer.
an up and comer and just like a door needs a door to be opened, for her
Okay.
dream. I think that that kind of person would be my kind of person. I
Okay.
could relate to that kind of person. But you
I
know what? I don't know. I mean, I could say Candace Cameron Bure, we're the same age and she's beautiful.
yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
not, so I'm like, I don't know, like I'm cute, beautiful, depends on how you if you ask Tony. But she's so gorgeous and we're the similar age and similar coloring. So
Okay.
maybe her.
I
Uh,
I like it. I could see it. I could see
yeah.
it. I don't we're not crossing into a realm of weirdness here. But for some just the way the light shining and the way your hair's done, I'm just seeing like what's her name? Julia Roberts.
Oh, well, why don't we call Julia Roberts up and be like, hey,
I'm just being honest with
you
we
know,
both agreed people want authentic content. I'm just like, okay, I just for some
like
reason Julia
authentic
Roberts, you're giving off a Julia Roberts vibe. So
Julia Roberts vibe. Yeah, it's the smile is bigger and it probably stands out because I have braces. That's what
yeah,
it is.
that's all right.
Yeah,
That's
that's
good.
hilarious.
I love it. Good stuff, man. Where else you gonna get content like that, folks? Who else is
Well,
gonna
it's
ham it up with Phyllis Robertson-Thomas like that?
it's
Me.
all real all the time with
Good
me.
stuff.
Like you just don't know what you're gonna get.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. One last plug for the book and where people can connect with you on social media, and then we're out of here. I think we'll put
Okay.
a bow on it.
I have a t-shirt on right now that Kendall and I put together, and I know you probably can't see it completely, but it says renew your mind.
Yeah, there we go.
It's got a little
Okay.
brain on it in
Yep.
Romans 12:2.
Yeah.
So it's one of my favorite scriptures, and it's the scripture in the Bible about how we are transformed by renewing our minds.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can get really nerdy about the brain, and I go into this some in the book, but our brains are flexible. We can learn new things, obviously, we
Mm-hmm.
can unlearn things. And the way we renew our minds is we decide what pathway do we want to create in our brain because
Mhm.
neurons that fire together wire together. So
Okay.
we learn things that are new. We figure out, like, okay, we become self aware. I need to change how I'm approaching this. I need to change how I'm doing this. I need to change how I'm thinking about this, right? Because trauma impacted us and made us have some kind of negative view about ourselves or the world around us and gave us this like unhealthy pathway. So when we recognize that and we decide, like, I'm going to create a new and healthy pathway, the way God designed our brains is we start taking that pathway and you have to kind of, it's like hacking your way through a jungle at first because it's a brand new way of thinking, a brand new way of acting, right? So you renew your mind, you go in there and you create this new pathway, and as you do that more and more and more, that becomes a more well-worn path, the one your brain automatically goes to,
Yeah.
the healthy one. And as we do this, we can see on functional MRIs that those old pathways that no longer serve us well, because you may have not needed to trust people when you were really little and
Mhm.
they were harming you,
Mhm.
you had to protect and guard yourself because trust was not safe.
Mhm.
But right now in your life now, you can create a safe place. There are people that you can trust, but we tend to stay guarded, right?
Sure.
Because of those experiences from the past. So we have to say, gosh, I can trust somebody now. And then we have to unlearn the I can't trust anyone. So that's just one example. But as you continue to take that new pathway of who you can choose to trust, that old pathway of I can trust no one gets snipped off, reabsorbed, it's gone,
Okay.
and it's like it was never there. So that's what I believe the Bible's talking about when the word says that we can renew our minds. It is a made new mind, a brand new way of acting and thinking and believing. And there's hope in that, right? That means no matter what you've gone through, no
Yeah.
matter what your past is, you can be an overcomer and actually be healed. Your physical brain, your mental health, physical health, spiritual health restored. We
Mhm.
still live in a tent. My dad went to be with the Lord. I'm not getting any younger. So our bodies are going to do what they do, right? But
Yeah.
we do not have to live in mental health misery. And there's more research coming out about even how our bodies can respond to healing from trauma. So
Mhm.
it impacts us in every way. So that my encouragement is if you have a history of trauma, if you have a past and you are still burdened by what happened to you, if you know someone that is still burdened by trauma, anyone who's suffering from mental illness, anyone that you know, or if you need to be transformed and have your mind renewed and healed, this book is for you. And so I wear this shirt. It's my reminder. Wherever I go, I wear this shirt, and I have another one that says scripture is my coping skill.
Yeah.
So like I'm a therapist. I have to talk about coping skills, but like, what are we doing to relax and take care of ourselves and push through those moments of sadness and anxiety and depression?
Mhm. Mhm.
We've got to we have to be intentional. So coping skills, reading the word, renewing your mind with the word. I mean, it's in a book. There's too much to talk about on one podcast, but I do think in the right hands, it can really help people. And I hope that just talking to you today, if one person buys it, if one person can come out and say like, do this touch my life, like this changed everything for me, then it will have been worth every letter that was typed. So
guys,
thanks
don't try
for letting me share it. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Don't kid yourself, guys. We all know every family needs this book. Every family's got stuff going on. Go ahead and pre-order your copy today. Yeah, it'll benefit you. I promise you. Go to our website.
ineverknewbook.com.
ineverknewbook.com. And then your own personal website. You can also get it there. Phyllis Duck Daughter on Instagram. Follow them there. TonyThomasArt.com. If you need if you're in the market for some awesome art, whether it's biblical, nature, cityscapes, Southern staples, that's part of my tagline too. I see how it just rattles off. It's really good.
Yeah.
Go there and get yourself some amazing art too. So Phyllis and Tony, it don't get any better than both of them. Let me tell you. Phyllis, thanks for coming back on and making the What Is Up podcast a stop on your book tour. At least that's how I'm hyping it up.
The start of many things to come.
That's right. That's right. We wish you the best of luck, you and the book. To my audience, guys, I don't know what brought you to this podcast today. Maybe the only reason you're here today is because of Phyllis, and I'm okay with that. That's fine by me. We're glad you were here and you gave us a chance to win you over and earn your support. We're trying to create something good here that is encouraging, entertaining, yet maybe a little challenging at the same time. That's when the healing comes, okay? So let me ask you one question. Have you ever caught yourself looking around and asking yourself, what is up with the stuff going on in the world today? Life gets hard. Life gets confusing. You don't know what to believe. Are you struggling to figure out what is true, what is right and wrong anymore, what is good? If you want rock solid, never changing truth rather than nonsensical, always changing cultural standards, you got to look to God and his word. The renewing your mind that Phyllis is talking about, that's where it comes from. You got to get into the word. It's truth. If you open that book, God will show you what is up. I promise you that. The Bible has proven itself and still does to give the best answers for why the world is the way it is and why we are the way we are and do the things we do sometimes. So if you're struggling to find truth or meaning or real purpose in this life, let me make it real simple for you. You were created by a God who wants a relationship with you. That's why we were created. But it's up to us to choose him. Okay? He wants it. He's there. He's waiting. But it's up to us to choose him. That's where the stuff you really want, the hope, the joy, the peace in life, the best things in life, that's where it comes from. All that other stuff is just temporary. It ain't going to last. It ain't going to fulfill you. We all got a God-shaped hole inside of us. You can fill it with whatever you want, but there's only one thing that fits. That's a relationship with Jesus. So if you want to go deeper or talk about anything Phyllis said today or that I said today, you can email me, whatisuppodcast@gmail.com. You can reach out to Phyllis. We'll make time for you, try and help any way we can. That's just the kind of people we are. For me and my guest today, Phyllis Robertson-Thomas, future New York Times best-selling author. We want to thank you so much for listening or watching. We hope it really encouraged you. Lord willing, I'll talk to you on the next one.
What an awesome podcast this was. I love your podcast. I think it's great. I think you're reaching just the right people. I pray you get more and more listeners and viewers, and it just continues to grow. And I can see the kind of audience that you're reaching. And I know that Tony's always saying that your calling will make a place for you. And so I'm seeing this with you, things that you're sharing with us. And so it was great to talk to you. And I got to chat with your wife. So much fun. So thanks for keeping in touch with us. And thanks for promoting Tony's art on your show. That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Absolutely. I'll support you guys as whatever you're doing. So glad to have you back on.
Thank you.